We've got Anuj Puri, chairman of ANAROCK Property Consultants. He's joining in through a Skype connection from Bangalore. Anuj, good evening, and thank you so much for taking time out for us. Let's talk about the big, broad sort of headlines. One is the fact that this development plan has increased the FSI for both residential as well as commercial properties. I know that is any builder's dream come true, but what does it mean for residents like you and me?
So I think two things it means, and the increase has only happened in the island city, which until 1991 was limited to 1.33, and it hasn't increased since. Suburb had gone up to 2.5, but island city was 1.33, and now for the first time gone up to 3. I think two things it means is one, ability to have new constructions in island city of a higher density. By which I am hoping that you will be able to see some drop in the prices, because on the same plot of land you're going to be able to build more, and invariably Bombay 70% of the cost is towards the real estate. Given that on the same plot you will be able to now construct more, that per square cost really drops. And the second is that corresponding to the increase in the density, there needs to be improvement in the infrastructure. I think the Chief Minister has got great plans of putting in the infrastructure. We're seeing several projects happening. They will need to pick up pace. There will need to be intensity and perhaps another plan to boost up the infrastructure. Otherwise, it will become a very dense urban environment. And the quality will then start to deteriorate if the corresponding infrastructure is not invested.
Anuj, that actually brings me to my next question. You talked about how there's a likely that we will see prices come off a little bit. So, while this plan is sort of opening up more pockets of development, it isn't like right now we have a supply issue. It's more of a demand issue. So, to that extent, why are you saying that you think prices will come off?
So two things. It is a demand issue because the prices are high. If the prices were to come off, you are going to see the intent of the buyer to actually consummate the transaction becoming more serious. And the second is that within the island city, we've not seen many developments. We've seen a lot of supply that has come up in the suburbs, but not in the island city. So I am encouraged that with the new density norms coming up for the island city, you're going to see a lot more development in there and a lot more supply coming up in the island city, which was literally getting starved of new supply. So when you say there is, the issue was not of supply, it was not of supply in the suburbs, but supply was an issue in the island city, which I'm hoping with the new norms of 3 FSI, there is going to be now adequate supply, which will hopefully at a more reasonable price bring in residential and commercial new real estate developments attracting new demand.
Right. So one was the FSI. I think the other big takeaway is the 3,700 hectares of land that's, earlier tagged as no development zone or, salt pans. It's been opened up to build affordable housing. Now, what do you make of this plan? Because, of course, we know that not just Maharashtra, but the government as a whole is sort of working towards housing for all. But how do you see that impact, again, the real estate landscape in Mumbai specifically?
So it's a huge positive boost to the affordable housing. I mean, 1 million affordable houses that are going to come up within the NDZ. And, unlike the SRAs where the slums had to be rehabilitated and, it has been very slow as an outcome, here the plot of land is absolutely free of encumbrance. And you can literally start over the next 6 months doing the development. I feel is that you're going to see this as a real opportunity, both for the private developers as well as for more, the population living in Mumbai, because the government has very clearly clarified that these affordable housing have to come within the purview of the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, and only then they will be allowed within this development zone. So for the Mumbaikar, really two things. One, the affordable housing is hopefully with 1 million homes coming up may become a reality. And second is really for the developers, there's going to be increased activity, not only in the island city, but also on the NDZ areas where they'll be now able to do development in the affordable housing sector.
Okay, my last question, and that is about, how for us living here in Mumbai, so many times it's called a concrete jungle, will the standard of living improve? Is there anything in this document where, we can look forward to maybe more greener spaces?
Two things I would say is one, clearly as we started the discussion, there has to be further investment in developing the infrastructure. The density norms have increased, and corresponding to that, if the infrastructure does not go up, then the quality of life will deteriorate. I do believe is that the minds in the government are working to ensure that the investment in the infrastructure continues pace with the density norms. So hopefully we will see growth happening in that with the infrastructure. The second is for the Mumbaikar, the opportunity of job growth is going to improve, because there's going to be mass scale development, not only in the construction field that there will be more job growth that will happen, but beyond that, when new offices, new places of retail, new hospitality areas are going to open up, there will be that job creation that will happen in the Mumbai city, which for a very long time has been lackluster, in places like where I am at this point in time, Bangalore and Pune have really benefited because of the lack of growth within Mumbai city.
All right, Anuj, we leave it at that. Thank you so much for taking time out for us. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Well, that was, of course, Anuj Puri there walking us through what the latest Mumbai development plan from the Maharashtra government really means when it comes to impacting our lives. Well, one thing's for sure, the high rises are just going to get higher. Well, let's slip into a short break here on the show, but here's what else is lined up. The government is short of another notice